Saludos and salutations, Broncos country, and welcome back into another exciting episode of Broncos Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, do we have an exciting episode today? Guys, I cannot wait to get into today's show and talk to you guys everything and all about your favorite Denver Broncos. Yo, Bobby, I see you liking the live on TikTok. I'm giving you a shout out and a big thanks right before we go live here on the show. Yo, I also saw you gave me a follow. So thank you so much for following the show. Appreciate you following. So just so you know, this is live. This is not pre-recorded. This is not taped. This is in real time, my friend. So Bobby, you have just made history as the very first person I shouted out, not just on TikTok, but here live on the show. So if you're watching us, please hit that like and subscribe button. I know I'm doing it early, but I don't care anyway. But guys, we are so excited to be here today. We are going to talk about the Broncos running game. I have been hearing some news, heard it through the grapevine, that a lot of teams are not taking the Broncos running game serious, and that is a big, big mistake. Why, you may ask? Tune in to find out. So please make sure your beer is cold and your food is warm, because you are not going to want to miss a single episode of today's show. And guys, let me just say something. There should not be an issue about making a big deal when you see somebody reverse into a parking spot. It really shouldn't matter if you go in nose first, which is, with your engine forward, or if you back in. Me personally, if I can back in and it makes it easier, I'm gonna back my car, because it makes it easier for me to take off. Plus, it can be a little bit safer than you backing out, especially if you don't have a camera, if you're not just paying freaking attention and then you accidentally hit somebody, or somebody hits you, or vice versa. It happens a whole lot more than you think. So let's try to normalize safe parking instead of trying to figure out which one's better and which one isn't, because at the end of the day, should it really matter? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Why does it matter to you that much? And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adan Diaz, and usually joining me to my left or right, depending on which direction you're watching, would be my co-host, Bronco Libre. He is running a little bit late, ladies and gentlemen, so please do not turn that dial yet. Bronco Libre will be with us shortly. So until that happens, until he jumps in, unfortunately, you're going to be stuck with yours truly. And I know I'm no Bronco Libre, but hey, I think I do okay for myself, most of the women that like me live really far away and can't really see me. So I guess I look better the more blurry my picture is, right? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. We have got a very exciting show for you guys here tonight. But before we get started, just like we do before the start of every single one of our shows, we have to get a couple of things out of the way before we start. So let's get her done by asking you, please, to support this show. If you could subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all of the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network, where we are live streaming from. Guys, even if you're caught up with every single Broncos Talk episode, which me and Libre are so proud to say, we wholeheartedly appreciate it, there is something for everybody here on the Orange and Blue Network. We have so much content. It is coming out of our ears. It's just shooting out like rainbows. And the other guys on all the other channels work really hard to provide you guys with Broncos content almost every single day of the week. That's how awesome we are here, where we just keep cranking it out. Even when one of us is taking off, the others guys got you covered. So please, if there's something you hear me or my co-host when he shows up, agree or don't agree with, please hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you guys think about the topic or whatever it is that we're talking about, and one of us will get back to you ASAP. Your support is greatly appreciated. For our audio listeners, regardless of what platform you're listening us to, please, 5-star reviews are much, much appreciated. If you like, you can send us a screenshot of that same review, and Libre and I will read it out live out here on the air, as well as give you guys our thanks for your continued support for our channel and for our show. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we are sponsored by Dubby. If you guys don't know what Dubby is, it's basically got no sugar, no calories, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors. It's formulated with nothing but amino acids, B vitamins, and nootropics, including the patented neurofactor, which is the caffeine that's derived directly from the coffee fruit. Also, guys, if you hook us up, we will hook you up as well when you use the code OBN10 to get your 10% off your order at checkout. Again, that code is OBN10 to get your free 10% off your order at checkout on all of your favorite Dubby products and crazy. So, excuse me. Again, that code is OBN10 to get your 10% off your order at checkout. Shout out to Dubby for being a continued sponsor of this and all of the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network. Also, guys, we are sponsored by Lily's Beauty Salon, located at 11776 Kearney Way, Thornton, Colorado, 80233. Guys, if you want to look your best for whatever it is you guys got coming up, I know we're in the middle of the week, but we have got an amazing sponsor here for you guys to hook you up to have you looking your best. You can contact Lily at 720-210-7996. It's appointment only. Her business hours are Monday through Tuesdays. They're closed. Wednesdays and Saturdays, they're open from 9:30 to 7:30 p.m. Sundays from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thank you so much to Lily's Beauty Salon for helping you and everybody in Broncos country look their absolutely best whenever we need it. Shout out to you, Lily. Thank you so much for being a sponsor of this and all the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network as well. Guys, also, if you haven't heard, we are on a mission. We have a giveaway alert. When this network, when Orange and Blue reaches 1,000 subs on YouTube, they are going to give away a signed Nick Bonito mini helmet. Actually authentic signed helmet by Nick Bonito himself. And all you have to do is follow us on YouTube and have your profile public in order for you to be entered into the random contest. If your YouTube page is not public, you will not be able to qualify because they will not be able to notify you or even select you to be the grand prize winner. So again, giveaway alert: when this network reaches 1,000 subs on YouTube, they are going to give away a signed Nick Bonito mini helmet. Again, all you have to do to enter is shout out this. Well, no, not shout out. Sorry, I was reading chat. Just follow this network and make sure your YouTube page is public. Thank you guys over at the. I wish I could say that I was a part of this contest, but unfortunately, Johnny says that I can't. You know, employees are exempt. So sometimes working for Johnny doesn't have its benefits, you know, and this is one of those times. Also, guys, the show schedule for this year is already out. In case you haven't heard, all the times I'm going to state to you are in Mountain. Orange and Blue Blitz comes every Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. Broncos Bros every Monday at 7, because do you even Broncos, bro? You know, Tuesdays at 7:30 we have the flagship show, Nothing Wrong with Orange and Blue. Wednesdays, just before we go live at 6, we have the Mahai Symposium at 2:30 p.m. Thursdays, we have the Mahai Podcast Outcast at 7 o'clock p.m. On Fridays, we have the Viva Los Broncos, which will air this Friday at 7 p.m. Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. So please write that down for all of our Spanish viewers out there. Hopefully we still have some left to catch me and Libre this coming Friday at 7 o'clock Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. For any breaking news, you can Fresh Squeeze has got you covered. Just make sure you have that live notification button turned on after you follow the Orange and Blue Network, so you get live notifications of anything that happens breaking news-wise in Broncos country. And then during the pregame show, we have the Get Buck pregame show that airs just before the game goes on live, where the guys come together and break down everything that is going to happen for that day's game. In case you are not able to watch the game, we've also got you covered with the play-by-play with the Bucking booth, where the guys count down all the action going on so you don't miss a beat. And then the Buck Your Feelings post-game show right after every single game, regardless of the result, where the guys come back together, talk about the results of that said day's game, and look forward to the following week's matchup. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man, he is my co-host, my best friend, as well as yours. Please help me welcome the Bronco Libre.
What's happening, Broncos country? How's it going? You know what? I'm so glad I missed all of that and just came there at the very end. Because I'll be honest, because I'd be like, "Jeez, all that talking he's doing."
I mean, I'm just trying to say, like, it was kind of weird. I've never done that intro without you, Libre. So I was starting to get nervous at first. I was like, oh, geez, please don't tell me that Libre is like stuck in traffic somewhere on the whatever the busiest highway in Denver is, you know?
Well, kind of. There's kind of situation like that because the normal route that I take home, they're doing some road work on it. So I have to go through all these different detours now. And I also had to go to the store because we have a potluck at work tomorrow. So I had to get some things ready. And then right as soon as I was getting on, because right now it's starting to rain and thunder out here. We're having a storm. Like for a quick second, my power went off. So I was like in the lobby, ready to hit the enter, and it went out. I was like, oh my God. So I texted you saying, hey, it just went out. I'm waiting for my internet to reset itself. So, but here I am. So I can still hear the thunder and all that right now. So if I happen to lose or get disconnected at any point, that's why. It's because my power went out again, and I'll be back on as soon as I can.
Also, I almost forgot to give a shout out to our TikTok audience. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me through that whole thing. Again, it does suck that the TikTok audience cannot see the awesome intro video and the outro as well. But if you guys are interested, you can come and follow us on YouTube and see the show in a whole different angle, because I'm pretty sure all these nice people in my TikTok don't want to. Well, you're not exactly looking up my nose, but I feel like it kind of is, because I'm not used to my camera being at that angle. But it is charging. It was supposed to be charging anyway to keep it from dying. But before we get started, Libre, had some people here in the comments section. Cody Chepa saying, smash the like button, everyone. Woo! Saying we keep killing it, bro. Thank you so much for being here, Cody. Always appreciate seeing your support here for us in the chat. Shai Vargas saying, what is happening? Clayton Harron.
What's happening, Shai? You know what? Just to shout out, like how you were saying about TikTok and all that earlier. I saw that Shai was on TikTok Live earlier today while I was at work, and I just happened to scroll onto it. But Shai, keep it up, bro.
Yeah, keep up the good work, man. I know we'll see you soon for the Shai Vargas segment once the season start, bro. Can't wait to see that. Clayton Heron, I don't know if I gave you your shout out, but thank you so much for being here. We also saw you liking us on Facebook. Thank you so much again. Your cousin saying, what's up, Broncos country? Bronco Butthead in the house.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. And then here's a name we haven't seen in a while. Libre Slime Broncos saying, how you doing?
What's happening?
Oh, I must have. I think I'm sorry, Slime. I confused you with somebody else. I thought you were Biggie Bronco. I did not read that, but thank you so much for being here with us anyway, Slime. I hope it's Slime, not Slim Me. Okay, I got it. Cool.
There he is.
Bam.
What's happening, TikTok fam? Let's go.
Now they can see both of us.
Hey, do you happen to see the new addition that I have in my wall?
No, I can't see because everything behind you is blind. I'm blind. No veil.
because you
Oh,
can't see me.
and one more thing. I know I keep talking. We will be taking next week off. So next week there will not be a Broncos talk episode or a Viva Los Broncos. After this Friday, Viva Los Broncos will stay off until the first week of preseason. All right. Libre is going to be at training camp next week. So
What? Me?
make sure you guys tune in the following week so we get all of the up-to-date news of everybody that Libre saw. Besides the fact that he gets to hang out with Miles and the Broncos cheerleaders, and I'm pretty sure he gets to high five a couple of the players. Like, there's a lot of things that Bronco Libre can do that he is not allowed to say. That's why he has to be kind of modest about it. But if it were up to him, like, he could almost do an entire video of just him, and the locker room at the head table with Sean and with Sean and George. Shooting pool with John Elway, probably. I don't know.
I don't know. Did you just hear that thunder?
I heard something.
That's the thunder.
Oof. And we don't mean the horse.
No.
All right. Well, Libre, I thought that today we could talk about the Broncos running game. Basically, I've been hearing, what did I hear? The thing that kind of almost sent me into a tizzy. Shout out to Bronco Tizzy, by the way. Thank you so much for being on the show with us last week. It was a blast.
Sí, senor.
But the thing that almost sent me almost out of my lazy boy was they asked, somebody compared Omarion Hampton to Terrell Davis, and he said he had no idea who Terrell Davis was.
So Tizzy had no idea who Terrell Davis was? Is that
no,
what I'm understanding? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. I was about to say, no, don't have him beefing on my Twitter like, bro, what are you talking about? But yeah, so that to me kind of really rubbed me the wrong way because I don't expect him to know every single Broncos player that has ever worn the colors. I mean, you'd have to be Bronco Libre or Glenn Housen were the only two people who I can think off the top of my head that if you quiz them would know almost every single Bronco that has ever worn the colors. But what you can't do is insult our team that way. The season hasn't even started, Libre, and the shots have already been fired. But besides that, I have also seen a lot of people saying that, and I'm pretty sure we touched on this subject before, Libre, which is just the fact that a lot of people feel that the Broncos have gone backwards in terms of their running game, that signing J.K. Dobbins was not the right answer, that the Broncos should have traded up in the draft to get one of the better running backs on the board. So I don't agree with none of those statements at all. It's a disrespect to what J.K. Dobbins did up until he got hurt. It's a disrespect to what R.J. Harvey was doing, stepping up in that big-time role. So now you're getting back a fired-up Bo Nix. You're getting an offensive coordinator in Davis Webb, who, if Sean Payton, again, I will repeat, if Sean Payton lets Davis Webb cook, and we can see what it is that he has in his bag of tricks, that would help take the Broncos offense to an entirely different level because it would be something that none of the opponents, not even our divisional rivals, Libre, would be able to prep for because they wouldn't have any tape. It would take some time for them to kind of catch up and see, okay, this is what Davis Webb is working with, in terms of the schemes they're running. But then again, having a guy like Sean Payton in your back pocket is definitely big, Libre, because you can always switch it up. Even if things are not turning the way they're supposed to, the fact that Sean Payton can just kind of turn things over and, obviously he has the right to overcall, but hopefully seeing what we saw last year, Libre, I think that offense is going to be much more deadlier this time around, especially the running game.
You know what? Like when you're talking about the running back position, and we're bringing this up for a reason, and how you talk about possibly moving up and getting a running back in this last draft. There's only one true running back that was really out there that we were all possibly hoping to possibly get. But we already knew that there is no way we're going to move up that high in the draft to actually get him. and I'm talking about Jeremiah Love. Okay, so he went third overall. Okay, so when we actually picked up our running back, when we got Jonah Coleman, I know Jay the Dream Weaver loves Coleman, and I see him always throwing up the art. I wish that I had it right now so we could do it right now. But you have to remember, when we got Coleman was the fourth running back off the board during this draft. Okay, and we got him in the fourth round. So there was another late first rounder that the Seahawks got, which was Jadarian Price, who was late. They're number 32 overall. You know, we could have stayed there at the, we traded our pick away, which is okay because we got Jalen Waddle. That's a better pick anyways from that. And then there was, who is it? Keelan Black, who went to the 49ers. And that was in the third round, number 26 overall. And then it was Jonah Coleman. So talking about, like, if you're going to move up in the draft, it's not going to happen, especially with the draft status on the running back position this year. We got Jonah Coleman, but look at what he's able to do. So in the value that we got for him is excellent. And I'm glad he was our pick at that position right there, because he's going to do special things. Just like Jay the Dream Weaver loves him so much, I actually love the pick too. So, Jay, you're not the only guy. I know Tim Dog's out there clowning you about that graphic that pops up all the time too. But you know what? I love it. I always love that when that comes up. So overall, this is what's going to be exciting for this year, especially for that running back room for us. I can't wait for it to come out and just show us what these guys are really competing for, because I don't think Tyler Bidet, aka Mr. Batty, is going to be out there. I don't think he's going to make the team. I don't think he will be here on that team. It's going to be a far reach with the other guys that we have on the roster as of right now. But again, it's going to be hard for these guys to get in here and actually make the team with the talent that we currently have now. With J.K. Dobbins coming back in, because we used him as more of the workhorse throughout the season for the first 10 weeks of the season. And you see what happened when you do that with him. You know, we talked about it at the prior of last season, that we already knew he was injury prone in itself. And again, shown factor. But I do think that we have a three-headed horse between RJ Harvey and Coleman, and then him getting out there and actually producing. And so we're not having him out there, Dobbins out there all the time as being that workhorse that he was last year. It's going to be able to let him be limited on the number of touches that he's out there, so that he's going to be healthy all season long. And that's going to be the key for this running back room.
Also, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I'll mention again, especially to our TikTok audience. If you guys have any comments or questions you want to ask us during the show, please feel free. Libre and I are always down and happy to answer any of your guys' questions. Please don't feel shy. Speaking of shy, he asked us a question here, Libre. What do you think about the Broncos training camp building?
You know, I seen it last year during training camp when it was still under the construction part. But when they did a video here just not too long ago about the completion of it, and you know what? I'm super excited for this. You know, and this is one thing that I love about our owners. They're taking care of their own. That is why the players are wanting to be here, because they know that they're going to be taken care of. They have the highest technology out there for recovery process, any type of treatment that they might need. You know, they just recently moved in everything from the old building to the new building right now. So they love that aspect of it already. So I'm excited for it. I'm going to be able to see it next Friday when I go down to training camp, when it's open to the fans for the very first day on the 31st. So I'll try to sneak as much video and all that so that I can post it on my social medias itself, because they do have a strict policy about not filming the actual practice part. But trust me, I'm not going to be doing the practice part. Like, I'll try to get the angles that I can get from the building, the facilities and all that, so that we could see the building that they were in to the current building that they're now in and so forth. Now everything's on the west side of the facility, so it's going to be awesome. This year, they're going to be putting us fans in the north part of it. And for the first time ever, I know I said this before, they're giving us shade. And because it's been so freaking hot over here in Denver, I am going to enjoy the shaded area itself. So I'm excited for that part.
Is that why whenever I see videos of Cody and some of the other big Broncos personalities, they're always reporting like away from, any football action because they can't actually record or do anything during the game?
Well, with themselves, like they have access to actually record certain parts of it, but not like the whole duration and getting it posted. So you'll be able to see like Bo passing it or whatever, and then there's a catch, but not actually the play developed. So if you ever look at those videos, that's what you're seeing. You're not seeing the whole play being developed. You're just seeing that Bo passing it, and then maybe Jalen Waddle or Cortland Sutton catching the ball, but it's not the whole play that's being posted out there. So you have to remember, fans in the position that we're in, we get to see a whole broader aspect of it. If it was like how you were at the game and you're in the north stands, you see the whole play, you see the whole formation, you see all that. And like with Cody and all the other guys, they're more at the lower level, right by the facility itself. So they have a different angle as well. So that's why you get those up close, better videos to see and when they post it. So. But yeah, there's a whole lot that they don't want to like their place to be leaked and all that, especially when it gets to social media, because you never know who's going to be out there. Just like I don't know if you follow baseball at all, but like the Padres or what was it? Was it the Padres or something, or some type of manager or scout guy was filming the Rockies coaching staff, for sign stealing or whatever, and he got fired immediately. Like, why are you stealing signs from the Rockies? Like that, that has to be the dumbest thing ever. You're stealing signs from the Rockies coaching staff. I know that you guys are competing to be the worst two teams in the league right now, and you don't want to be that, but it's really stupid. Like that was like the stupidest thing I thought I had ever seen. I'm like, the Rockies of all teams, you're filming them to cheat.
Oh, I'm sorry, Libre, but that's just funny.
It is, bro.
But the worst part about it, Libre, is probably, well, it's hard for me to comment on it because I've never actually been to a training camp. I can only live through you and Cody Rourke and all of my other favorite Broncos. I don't know, streamers is the right word, but all the nice people that get to go out and enjoy the festivities, I guess you could say, out there. But the fact that you guys are getting shade is a miracle in itself. Now, the only other thing I can ask you, Bronco Libre, is do you know if they're still doing the thing with the was it last year or the year before where they were doing the thing with the Ford key fobs, where if you had a Ford, you had like a special seating arrangement thing? Do you know if they're still doing that this year?
No. Well, yes, they are, because they did it last year.
Okay.
So you still have to get like a key fob or whatever, but they just have like, you get early access right away to get into the facilities itself. There was one point, this was like 2 years ago, when we were still up on the west side of the facilities and we were up on the hill, that they actually gave them like a certain area of actually being I think they got a little bit more access to the players when they did come out and start signing stuff, is because of that special entrance. Was it not 2 years ago, but about 3 years ago when we went, my uncle went with me, and we were able to use his, because he had a Ford pickup. Well, he still does have a Ford pickup, and we use his fob. And again, because I don't just like to sit in that one little area, I have to move around and be with the fans and all that. Yeah, he was down there. He enjoyed it. And actually, that was the year that I actually got this was about 4 or 5 years ago now. I was able to get this ball right here. But the funny thing about this ball, see how it's signed? by a couple of players. So that's Williams. That one's Bradley Chubb, and that's Melvin Gordon. So when they were on the team at that point, like we were like trying to get the signatures and all that, and we're like right there at the end of practice. This ball just happens to roll to my feet, and I'm like, my uncle goes, "Hey, look at the ball!" And I look down, and I left it there for a good minute before I actually picked it up, because I thought somebody would be coming over saying, "Oh, I dropped my ball." I picked it up and I was holding it. If anybody came over, especially if it's a kid, because that's how I want to make sure that this is something that's going to be sacred for them. They're going to remember it. And nobody came up and said, "Hey, that's my ball," or whatever. Because if they did, I was like, "All right, here you go." But nobody claimed it. So I ended up bringing it home.
Wow. And you got it signed by a Super Bowl champion too. That's nice.
So Bradley Chubb, Javonte Williams.
It's not a Bronco, but he's still Gordon. A Super Bowl champion.
Right?
Can't hate on that, bro. Well, I can, but that would be me being petty. Unfortunately, I don't have any Broncos signatures. I should have gotten Carl Mecklenburg's signature when I met him, but I didn't have a football or even a marker. I didn't have anything for him to sign.
Here, let me show you something real quick. 1 second.
Oh, here we go. It's a good thing our audio listeners can't see this because Libre is probably digging into the corner of his like trophy case and bringing out like this giant football signed by like Von Miller or John Elway or something, or Shannon Sharp. Ain't that right, Libre?
Oh, I couldn't hear you. What was that?
I said, I bet you got something that's signed by like John Elway or Shannon Sharp or one of the greats.
Well, remember I did show you that I do have a John Elway signed photo, an 8x10 photo of him holding up Super Bowl 32. So, but us talking about the mech, the white rhino. So this was a special practice lanyard to get in. There was like a private practice, so it wasn't open to the public. You had it. It's a private practice. This was held back in August of 22, and I was got invited to that. And Carl Mecklenburg was there, and he signed the actual tag for me. And then also, I don't know if you remember him, Ebenezer Ekibon, number 91.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So
I like the Let's Ride on there.
So they were both there. So I was there. I got this signed because I was like, "Hey, this is the day of the practice, the private practice," and I was like, "Let's just go ahead and do it."
Let's ride, Libre.
that was the time when what's his name was here. We forget about him.
No, we don't. We still say "Let's ride" around here, Libre. We say it on this network all the time.
No, only you.
And Johnny says it too. He's just too modest to admit it.
Here you go. Look at this, TikTok fam.
He's gonna cut off our stream. Like, I don't say that. You're fired. Hey,
at least if he's gonna do it like how ESPN has been doing to their people, telling them that they're fired and can't finish their show.
Yeah, and this is sidebar here, Libre. You think Cam Newton is feeling pretty sour about that?
Of course, because what is he going to do now? Where is he going to go dab?
I still think that if it wasn't for when Shannon Sharp went in initially, like Cam Newton would have never been even mentioned. So I think he was just on borrowed time after Unc left, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Because his takes, I tried watching his show. Like, he does have like good segment lineups and points, but his commentary doesn't really go anywhere, Libre. And the fact that he still thinks that he can put himself in the conversation of like, "Oh yeah, I'm waiting for them to call me so I can come in and save the day." Like when he was trying to make that argument of why the Broncos didn't call him instead of going with Jarrett Stidham, And I'm just sitting there reading watching the video, and I'm like, I would have went with Jared Stidham all the way. I don't want Cam Newton coming in there.
Right? Hey, I don't know if you see this comment though on TikTok. Somebody says they see some mocos. I'm just kidding.
From my camera, like 50 feet away. But no, there's nobody commenting on my stream. I see people coming and going. Shout out to you, Alan. I think that's you still here. Appreciate you. Hashtag Cell Block D. Yeah, we haven't mentioned Cell Block D. Libre, what's up?
You know what? Maybe that could be next week or the following week after we see what training camp is about.
I will agree though. Libre, the one thing I do want to see, and he says, let's go Broncos. That's right, Alan. The one thing I do want to see in next week's training camp is I want to see them make it really difficult to see who the Broncos are going to keep in the running game. Because obviously you did mention the two players that the Broncos got in the draft. Can the Broncos go into this coming season with 4 running backs?
So
or do they go?
So here we go. The running back room, right as we speak, as of right now: Tyler Bidet, Jonah Coleman, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, and JaVale McLaughlin. And Cody Schrader,
yeah.
So
I've heard of him, I think.
And Schrader's a 3-year vet, so he's coming up in his 3-year vet. McLaughlin is 4-year vet. R.J. Harvey, of course, is going to be his 2nd year. J.K. Dobbins is his 7th. Coleman is his rookie year, and then this will be the 3rd year for Bidet.
Right. Alan asks, are you guys going to any of the camps? I am not personally going because I don't live in Denver, Alan. But Libre is going. He's going all throughout its entirety. I asked him to take.
Well, I have 2 days right now. So I have next Friday, which is the 31st of August, and then Saturday, August 1st. Those are the 2 days that I have confirmed. As of right now,
tickets. Sorry, I keep thinking it's just like you can just show up. My bad.
You know what? It used to be that way where you could just show up or whatever, but they have it where it's a ticketed system right now. And they limited for all season ticket holders as of right now when we first got up. But this is even anybody else right now. You're only limited to 4 tickets for 2 days that you can select. I can get tickets from if somebody else has other tickets and then transfers to me. That's a completely a different story. But to me, to actually initiate the request on it, you can only get 2 days, 4 tickets total, and that's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Alan, Libre is gonna take a picture of me and he's gonna carry it around in case he sees some of the football players. It's like, sign this for me. My friend couldn't be here. He's in a wheelchair, maybe. I don't know.
That's funny. Hey, I'll work all avenues with that if I could.
D-Rock saying, hey, Don and Libre, my high salute to you, D-Rock. Thank you so much for being here with us. And he says, if we're in the 10-yard line and Lohner and Butler are suited, put them in. D-Rock, every time I hear Caleb Lohner, I still have that slow motion in my head where he had that touchdown, man. He dropped it. And that cost him a potential spot on the roster. So, again, it was his first year. This is rookie. Rookies are allowed to make mistakes. So, hopefully, during the time that he's been out, he can go out there and put some really good tape in, Libre. Because it's blunders like that coaches like Sean Payton or even Davis Webb will not take lightly. And they need to be corrected. They need to be fixed. Caleb has to go out there and prove that he was not a fluke of a pick like some of the players in his position in previous years have been picked, and they just completely disappear out of the league.
But you have to remember with Lohner, he's super raw. Because his time in Utah, that was his only time he's ever played any type of organized actual football. Mm-hmm. So you have to remember that he is completely raw, and I think that's what they like about him. And again, a lot of it has to do with his height. You have to remember when he got drafted, what was his highlights? when he was playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So, but just remember this though, he is going to be where Sean Payton's looking at him as the project where he can mold him onto the player that he wants to be. He did get hurt. I think he had some type of surgery that had to be done as well. So I think that's limiting him a little bit as well. But the thing is with him, he needs to go out there and prove himself, get the weight. Biggest thing that he has to do right now is be that type of that blocking tight end. And then just having him maybe in short down distance, like if it is a 10-yard or first and goal or whatever, and it's just a jump ball, that's where you're going to want him to be in that position itself. So he's still raw. He's still out there he's just out there that he still has to prove himself. And I think that the coaches will give him a little bit more leeway just because of that. But they see that potential in him because they wouldn't have drafted him if they didn't see it already in him. So I'm super excited for him as well. Hopefully this is a good breakout year for him so that we can get rid of some of these other tight ends. But that's part of the reason why we went back out there and re-signed everyone to at least a 1, if not a 2-year deal itself.
I agree. And also Libre Allen says, if you're going on August 7th or 8th, he'll see you there.
I will attempt to try to get out there. And of course, I'll be here dressed up as Libre Allen. So hit me up on, just send me a DM or whatever. Let's see if I can get out there, and I'll definitely see what I can do about doing it.
Yeah, I will say, Libre, the one thing I think that our offensive line definitely has to work better at is opening up the holes for our running game. Our running game last year was not up to what we wanted it to be. And having one of the best, if not the best offensive line, Libre, you want to be better. You want to try to be good at both sides of the ball, not just the passing game. Running the ball is a definite must for this team in terms of trying to give Bo Nix I don't want to say a break, but opening up the playbook where Bo Nix can be more at ease and confuse the defense and not let them read into what the offense is going to run. So it's not predictable if the defense is going to stack the box. It's not predictable if they're going to spread the defense, especially the secondary, because certain teams are really good at locking things down or at hiding their coverages, so to speak. So hopefully the guys can do that. Now, I will admit, Libre, that J.K. Dobbins' injury history does have me a little bit worried. So if the Broncos do end up in a situation during the season where J.K. Dobbins gets hurt again, we're kind of back to square one in terms of where we were last year, especially the later we get into the season. So that's why it is really crucial that we see what we have in our other running backs. So the Broncos did take a big risk in bringing J.K. Dobbins back, and I know that he's really grateful to have come back here because he loves the culture, he loves the city, he loves his team, all that good stuff. But we have to be able to run the ball. Now, last year without Dobbins, we definitely saw, and nothing against RJ, he did great, but there's only so much that RJ Harvey can do himself. He can't run every single play, and, he needs a break in between here and there. So behind RJ Harvey, we really didn't have that duo, that combo that we had with Harvey and Dobbins. So I'm really hoping that when the Broncos hit the field for the start of the season, week 1, that especially against a team like Kansas City, who I still feel is a whole lot more beat up than they're letting on, that the first punch to the mouth to Kansas City comes from our running game.
So what I like when you're talking about us going to be in trouble this year if something happens with JK, this is part of why we have Jonah Coleman now. That's to help alleviate that. It's up. So if Jonah Coleman is the type of player that me and Dream Weaver think of him, I don't think we're going to have that much of something to worry about because now we have depth at the position so that we have people that are going to be in there to actually help out with the game itself. Like we did last year where we didn't have the depth or the personnel to actually, or the people that are put into that position to actually be productive. And that's why we suffered and we became one-dimensional there at the end of the season. But I feel like just with the addition of having Coleman now onto the team, bringing him in and doing that, I do think that now that right there alone creates the depth that if JK or even somebody else that goes down, if it is RJ Harvey or whatever, we have that another piece to that to help factor in where we're not going to be hurting and being one-dimensional like we did last year.
One-dimensional, Libre. Is that?
Well, that's when you know that you can't run and you have to pass the ball, or vice versa. Like when you're talking about that one-dimensional, defenses now can relax on a certain scenario where they like beat us. If you're gonna beat us this one way because we're gonna go heavy one way or the other. If it's covering the passing game or going over the running game itself, like if Bo wasn't the slinger that he is, the arm slinger that he is, like that's part of like they're saying that's why the coverage was out there, and we didn't have that other dynamic wide receiver that we have now within Jalen Waddle. That's where another fix that we have now with that alone is like we have these options now here to start off the season that we have weapons on both the passing game and now the running game. So at the end of last year, if you remember, we couldn't run the ball if our life counted on it. Like that's why teams were pass heavy on us. We're like, if you're going to beat us, try to beat us by passing the ball. But if you're going to try to run the ball, good luck, because we're baiting you to basically run that ball. And we know that we're going to be able to stop you. And a good portion of the time last year, they did stop our running game because we didn't have that running game or that runner to actually really produce for us.
Would you say that I don't, and I'm only asking this because I can't remember if I've asked you this before. Would you say that re-signing J.K. Dobbins was the right choice for Denver?
I agree 100%. And now how you said could be a risk, but let me tell you, high risk, low risk, high reward on it, because we got him back at a good deal to get him back in here. And to do that, like, let's run it again. We saw the potential that he was able to do, and before he got injured. And now that if we can have a continued to healthy J.K. Dobbins and have him produce like he was doing up until the time he got injured, he's going to excel, and it's going to be great for this team. But again, we can't be that type of workhorse that he's that every down back out there. That's why we got Coleman. That's why we have these other guys coming in, and hopefully it is, like how I mentioned at the beginning of the show, a three-headed monster. Between Coleman, J.K. Dobbins, and R.J. Harvey. So those guys are going to be the three-headed monster of this team itself.
Well, the only reason I asked that is because, obviously the AFC West running game, on paper anyway, it looks like it's going to be a really tough outing. I mean, the Broncos have J.K. Dobbins. The Chargers are getting back Omari and Hampton. The Raiders, the still kind of trying to see how things are going to go with Ashton Genty, depending on how that new management front office goes. And then, obviously, Kansas City signed, what's his name, from the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I was advocating for him as well for the but you have to remember, let me go back to the Raiders. You have to remember they have a Kubiak. Okay. It's the Kubiak tree, off the West Coast type of offensive style. So that alone right there, that's the only thing that truly scares me because of that bloodline already in the coaching part of it. But let me tell you, they still don't have the personnel, especially on the offensive line, to be able to run that itself. So I feel like it's still going to be another couple years out for them to actually be there. Now that the Kubiak is in there with Clint Kubiak as the head coach, to actually build his team and get the players that he needs to help run his offense. Because again, you have to remember, he just was given this team. Now he has to go through and start piecing it together and getting the people that he wants in there. And it takes a couple of years for that to happen. But yeah, with with Casey in their offensive line too. I think that's also still a little sus. They're not going to be that great, so I'm not too worried about that part as well. Seattle had a much better offensive line than what KC does, so he's not going to do Kenneth Walker III. That's what he is.
Kenneth Walker, yeah. Thank you, Shai.
With that, is not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to do what he did last year because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think that Kenneth Walker, if you go back to free agency, if the Broncos weren't set on J.K. Dobbins, I think Kenneth Walker to Denver would have made a whole lot more sense than him going to Kansas City.
I agree, but that you have to remember,
it would have been expensive though.
Exactly, and that's not what they were. And you saw during the offseason, we didn't overpay for anything. You know, we got great value for what we got with the pieces that we put in. And with adding Kenneth Walker III into this team would have cost them a lot of money, because not only he was a Super Bowl MVP, and that's what really got him to be somewhere else other than here than in Denver. If he didn't win that MVP and did what he did in the Super Bowl, there could have been a potential where we were able to get him, but it was going to be a lot less money and all that. But only because of what he did during that Super Bowl and winning the MVP, his price just went up and went up. And the Broncos weren't willing to do that.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. But I was just saying, like, in retrospect, yo, Jorge,
what's happening?
What's happening? See, I did it longer than Bronco Libre. Thank you so much for stopping by, Jorge. Always happy to see you showing your support for us here on Broncos Talk, here on the Orange and Blue Network, by the way. But I will say, Libre, I am kind of jealous that you get to see everything first before I do. I know that the Denver Broncos, like, official channel, they do a training camp, kind of like first look or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
But if you've ever seen it, Libre, don't get me wrong, I love hearing the stories from Steve Atwater and all the random people that come and join him. But it's like I want to see what's going on, and I feel like what the camera's showing us is just a loop of like the players warming up, or know, just like tossing the ball or whatever. Like, it's not really what you and the other Broncos fans that are there are seeing. I feel like we're watching.
Not to get you a little jealous or anything, but George and I are going to be at the training camp practice on the 1st of August. We'll take a picture. We'll just take a picture and we'll send it to you.
Just leave a space on the side so I can Photoshop myself in it.
I don't know if you can fit in the picture though.
I'll shrink myself. My Photoshop skills are not that good, Libre, but damn it, hell, I'll try.
There we go. He's so hyped. Let's go.
So y'all are saying that the Walter Penners has great value players?
Hey, when you D-Rock, if you go in and if you look at what we paid for, what the players that we got, we basically re-signed a lot of the players. So when I was saying that, yes, and I'm glad that you understood the reference when I said great value. I was hoping somebody out there understood that. D-Rock understood the assignment.
I wouldn't exactly say great value players, because making that comparison, you have to realize that if you were to say they were great value players, those great value players almost went to a Super Bowl and and had a shot at winning it. I'm not saying Seattle would have been an easy win. It would have been hard as hell, but I will die on the hill when I say that the Broncos would have put up a much better show than New England did. New England completely went to San Francisco and crapped the bed. Okay, they embarrassed every single team in the AFC. If you would have put any one of those other teams besides the New England Patriots, they would have put on a better show than New England. That's how bad New England was. That's how bad Mike Vrabel's team looked. They looked completely outplayed, outclassed. And if it wasn't for the fact that the Seahawks kind of took their foot off of the pedal, they could have run up the score, Libre, and it shouldn't have even been what it was. It should have been so lopsided. Like it would have been it would have made your mind boggle, and Vegas probably would have lost so much money. You're muted, Libre.
So when I'm talking about great value itself, I'm talking about for the price that we got these players back for. And that the Broncos, because of the amount of money that we had available to us after the Russell Wilson dead money had actually left our books. That's what I'm talking about. Is like we got all these guys back at a good value. We didn't overextend for anybody to be here to actually be on this team. Probably the only person that we are paying a lot for it is for the trade when we got Jalen Waddle. But when I look at it, and if you think about it, we traded our number 1 pick overall, number 30th overall for him. So when people said, oh, we don't have a first round pick, you can say that in a way, but guess what? We have Jalen Waddle. We traded for him. That's what we got as our first round pick. So value, that's what I mean when I bring that up, is that we didn't over and extend and overpay for a player just to come here, just so that they can help us out at a hole here or there. So that's what I talk about it.
Libre, your fan club is here.
Let's see. My baby boo, Yaya and Boo Boo, welcome to the live, guys. Love you. Hope to see you this Saturday.
This may be a stupid question, but do they realize what their last name means in Spanish?
I don't know if they do, but I love it because they're the goats. I'm just saying. These girls are the goats. Borrego. The goats in the house.
Like, I don't know. My mind just went there. Like, when they tell somebody their last name, does somebody in like a Hispanic be like, man?
But you know what? The best thing that they can always say, like, hey, we're the goats. We're the greatest of all time. Borregos.
Borregos, los chivos. Oh, we're so stupid. Shy asked us, do you think the Broncos could go to the Super Bowl this year?
Shy. We were a broken ankle away from being in the Super Bowl this year. One thing that we have been able to do is not only improve on our offense, like I was saying earlier, we are no longer going to be one-dimensional for this upcoming season. We're going to be a dangerous team. And the league, I still like this. And this is the national narrative. They don't believe in this team. But let me tell you, this team is going to prove so many people wrong that I do feel like we're going to be in the Super Bowl. And let me tell you this. And I feel like we're going to have a game that's here in Denver that might be a rematch or a Super Bowl preview. Let me just say that. The game is on a Sunday night, week 3. So look it up. Who are we playing week 3? Sunday Night Football. The Rams. So I do feel like we might be playing the Rams in the Super Bowl in week 3. Sunday Night Football here in Denver could be a preview of a Super Bowl, this upcoming year's Super Bowl.
It's America's game of the week. At least it should be.
Well, it is Sunday night. We've been waiting all day for a Sunday night football.
Especially if the Broncos go into that game 2-0. Like, being undefeated just adds, aside from more pressure, obviously, but when you start playing like the really good teams like your Rams, and I'm not going to put Kansas City in there, the other teams that I can't think of the schedule off the top of my head, but the other teams that the Broncos have to run the gauntlet on, so to speak. Like,
so talk about the first 6
pressure.
games of the season. So we have KC to start off the season, Monday Night Football. We come home to play Jacksonville. And then the Rams for that Sunday night. And then we head to LA for the Chargers. And then we have we play in the Super Bowl champs on Thursday Night Football, the Seahawks. and then we play. Then that's the first 6 weeks. Oh, 49ers. I missed the 49ers. I'm sorry. So week 4 is the 49ers in San Francisco, or Santa Clara, I should say, because they're not in San Francisco. And then after that, week 7 is the Cardinals. So those first, like Alan was just talking about, what do we think about those first? What I thought about the first 6 weeks of the season. Like those are like even other like I saw some TikToks, I've seen some videos that everyone's saying how brutal these first 6 games of the season is. And it is tough, but I do feel like we can escape with a 4-2 record, and we're going to be just fine. So
we're going
to answer your question again, Shy, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. We're going to be there. It's just a matter of formality that we have to play the season, go into the playoffs and all that. Just write it in already. We just have to play the season as a formality.
Ladies and gentlemen, Libre and I have reached the end of regulation, which means it is now time for us to go into overtime.
Let's go.
Let's go. And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. This is Broncos Talk Overtime. This is the part of the show where Libre and I let down our hair figuratively, where we talk about anything and all things going on in our lives. Doesn't have to be related to football, but if we can find a way to bring it back, especially Broncos football, we definitely will. Libre.
Tell me about it.
I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show, but I vented about this whole conversation or argument about whether you're a jerk if you're parking your car, but you park it in reverse. So your trunk in, and then you just pull out easier instead of going nose in first.
I guess it's depending on the way that how the parking lot is set up. Because like here at the Walmart, right? The Walmart by my house is we call it the bigger Walmart. Each row is a one-way. So if you do it that way, yes, you're a jerk, because now when you're pulling out, you're going against the one-way itself. But if it's just like the normal straight-on parking or whatever and backing it up, I do that myself sometimes, depending on certain situations, because yes, it is faster. Sometimes people don't care on when you are trying to back out or whatever, and they go in there right away and try to either sneak in your spot that you're trying to leave, or if they're just trying to get by because they see one that might be closer to the door and they just try to hurry up and rush, and they don't care that they see you backing up. So I guess it's just really depending on the situation. But I do it. If it's like normal parking where you do it that way, I'll do it. But if it has the one-way direction, I don't do that.
I honestly, it depends how I'm feeling. If I'm running late, which I hardly ever do because I try to be early to everything, I'll just nosedive. But unless I want to take my time and I want to be bougie and I want to see just how good I can, well, now it's easier, Libre, because now we have backup cameras. Backup cameras tell you everything from the angle. If your car is fancier than mine, it even beeps, telling you hey, you're too close, stop! And then mine doesn't do that. It doesn't beep, but it will tell you hey, if you keep going this direction, you're going to go here and whatnot. Used to be a time where you had to put your hand on the back seat and go like this, and just kind of well, I got to measure it out. I still do that sometimes on my Expo because my Expo doesn't have a backup camera. So I kind of have to, and it's harder because that thing's like a tank. So I kind of have to measure it out. Okay, I want to make sure I give the guy behind me some space so that way he doesn't have to wiggle out, because that's also really annoying when somebody parks and you're so packed in where you have to literally go back and forth 100 times just to kind of wiggle out of that one spot. But I don't think you have to deal with that, Libre, because you have a driveway, right?
I do have a driveway.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only times like what sucks is when I am backing up, my neighbors here just recently over the last couple of weeks have a couple more cars for some reason. So when I'm trying to back out, like it's hard to see cars from one way. So that's the only part that sucks. You have to go out real slow, and there's times where I'm able to actually see through the car, underneath the car, because of it's a little bit higher up, so I can see underneath the car to actually see if there's any oncoming traffic itself. But what's nice about it is I live on my neighborhood itself on my road. There's not that much traffic, so it's very rare that a car will be coming when I'm leaving or whatever. So, hey, can you do me a quick favor? Can you pull up your TikTok? Because we have a special request coming from D-Rock. He goes, all right, fellas, let's talk about 17 minutes about JK, and then let's talk about how sick Libre is with some swords. So he saw a video of a video I posted, thinking it was a restaurant for the experience and all that, not realizing it was actually me behind the grill doing this. Can you can you have access to do that? Because I remember you doing TikTok before.
But I don't know what I'm looking at though.
Well, go to my TikTok, because I reposted the video, and it should be one of the top videos there. If not, it's the very bottom one when you scroll through all my videos.
Let's see. Bronco. No, go back. Bronco Libre says you're live, of course.
Okay, so it's going to be the 5th video in. I have 3 pinned, and then it's the one that looks all white. It's at the top when you look at my videos.
The 3 pinned.
So and then you'll see Darko, and then there's one that should be just on all white, like.
Oh yeah, here we go. Hang on. What the hell is that?
Then he goes, it's straight sick. Wow. And those are actual swords that we grilled with when I used to work at BD's Mongolian Grill when it was open here in downtown Denver.
Huh.
We did all those tricks all the time because that counter that you see around there, people stood there waiting for their food to be done. So we just always do tricks and all that, tell jokes or whatever. All right, it looks like it's just looping around now. Look at that. George saying BD's was fire. I was sad that they closed. George, same here, bro. But let me tell you, it took me 5 times to learn how to do that trick. Wait, maybe 4.5. You learn real quick not to grab the wrong end. No, really, for some reason that day when it happened, they were calling it finger food. I don't know why.
I showed my finger.
Yeah, so you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know how to do anything cool like play with swords. So I don't have anything that can top that. I'm trying to think. I'll think of something. But D-Rock has a question for us where he says, guys, do you think the NFL would ever pull a college move and shake up the conferences and divisions? The only way they do that is if they add more teams, which is expand. That's the only way.
Well, you have to remember that's how we lost the Seahawks, because the Seahawks used to be in the AFC West. And then because of the way that when they added it, and now we have 4 teams per division and whatnot, so that's the only way that'll happen. I know that they've talked about having different other teams, some moving from the NFC to the AFC and vice versa, or whatever. But I think the way that they currently have it right now is still going to be set up. There's really, just like how Don said, there's not going to be any changes to it with the current setup as it is now.
I will say, I don't like the fact that they want to incorporate teams outside of the United States. So, like, they want to include London, Mexico City. Those are 2 names. Don't get me wrong, I love my hometown, but
Arizona. I mean, oh wait.
If you're going to do that, you should give it to. Let me just say, I still don't think that it was right for St. Louis to have lost a team, because that city really loved the Rams more than the LA Rams loved the LA Rams. Okay. Yes, it's nice that they got a nice big stadium. I'm pretty sure they're not too happy that they have to share it with the Chargers. But if you go back, especially, I always tell people this, go back and watch the Rams when they had Todd Gurley. Like, that man, before Derrick Henry, there was Todd Gurley, and that man was a sight to behold. His first couple of years as a Ram, and that place was rocking, Libre.
You have to remember that the city has to also want them as well. And if they really wanted them, they would have done everything they could to try to help them out. You know, they were asking for a new stadium, and Stan Kroenke at that time had the leverage saying, LA wants us back. Because you have to remember, they moved from LA to St. Louis. So they're like, hey, LA wants us back. They're going to help us build a new stadium. So part of it was the lease rental that the Chargers had to use. You know,
I know. But if you're going to give new teams, I would say start there. And then for another one, I don't know where you would put another one. However, well, somebody did pitch to me like, you were always an LA Rams fan, but when they left, you became a Denver fan years later, though. I mean, I can see that. Hell, I really admire John Madden. And if it wasn't for the Broncos, I probably would have been a Raiders fan, you know, because John Madden, before I even knew who John Elway was, I knew who John Madden was. And that's only because I used to see his name across my Sega Genesis, you know, and I had friends of mine that were so into Madden, especially when it came out at that time, where it was like, hey, man, you got to play Madden. You got to play Madden. And I was like, I'm not really the Madden type of guy. You know, I was more Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Sonic, all those good games. Like, I'm not a Madden guy. Appreciate it, though. You know, but maybe
talking about Madden, this was just even 5 years ago when my son got his PS5. I would let him go out there and beat me, or not beat me. Like, I would play, and then he's beating me throughout the game, and then I'll put my defense on there, stop him, and then I'll just score and just beat him by a point or two. And he was mad, but now if we went and played right now, he's so much better at Madden than I am, because he just knows all of the other little movements now. Because I haven't played it a lot, but doing it from that, it's a whole different story now. But I remember playing that as well.
Tim Dog, yes, you heard that right. I could have been a Raiders fan, because before I became a Broncos fan, I did not know anything about, aside from the Bears, only because I live in Chicago. So I'm lucky that I didn't become a Bears fan, you know, especially because I grew up with friends of mine that actually were Bears fans. And it's right in that same principle of how did I become a White Sox fan instead of a Cubs fan, when I had more friends that were Cubs fans than White Sox. And you know what sold me? A picture of Frank Thomas at this youth outreach program that I used to go to. That's the very first time I saw a White Sox player.
Bro.
Big Hurt.
He was one of my favorite players. Even though I didn't like baseball a lot, but seeing him, I have favorite players, and just seeing him play, Like, damn,
Mhm.
they hurt. But my favorite of all time, the big cat, Andres Galarraga.
Yeah, Ozzie Guillen, Paul Konerko, Jim Thome, Juan Uribe, all the guys that followed after that, like that
D-Rock, I don't
2005.
think anyone's gonna fill his shoes, bro. John
Yeah.
Madden's shoes are hard to fill, especially with the commentating.
Oh no, John Madden is a legend in his own. There will never be another John Madden. I mean, when you just look at the franchise that he made, I mean, the man has a video game in his honor that millions of people play every single freaking day. Some even religiously, Libre.
Yeah.
Like they hold tournaments in that man's name where the best of the best play. And I've seen it, Libre, and I don't think I could play that game for 100 hours. I don't think I could ever get that good. you
Right.
know it's either one of those things like you either have it or you don't. When I play Madden, I just play it for fun. I play against the computer. I like the way I just like the style that I play. But I'm not one of those that is like gonna go online and try to smack people, because it's like
Oh no.
it'll be the opposite. I'll end up getting smacked. But if teams can, if cities can have two teams, like New York has two, LA has two, and you wanted to give, I mean, you could always go and give like, maybe San Antonio, give them a team, Texas. I mean, I don't know. You would have to include, it would have to be even. So it can't just be one, it would have to be two. And I personally think that it would be better if they were in the United States themselves. But
We'll see what happens with that. I agree in a way, but with the how many international games that are going out there, I know like they did try NFL Europe there for a while, and it wasn't as popular, so they did shut it down. But I think now that with the NFL being more popular, and them incorporating it with the actual league itself and not like a subsidiary of it, and so it's not a different league. I think that might be part of the problem why it didn't succeed there in NFL Europe itself. And it needs to have a team that is incorporated here. I think that's what drives the factor for that as well. Especially with the NFL doing over the last 3 years about doing international fans of the years and all that. So I think that's also helped grow the fandom for all these NFL teams in other countries as well.
I wholeheartedly agree. But there's like so much that goes into that. So I think that the people will just kind of play around with the idea, but it would take a whole lot of gears to move in order to have that happen. And it's not impossible, because I mean, you have to remember, we have 18 weeks of football, and there's talks about maybe going to 19. So
Yeah.
I don't think that it'll expand to 19, but hey, I never thought that 18 was a thing either. So it's one of those things. It's like never say never, right?
So just going back, I want to go back to this comment that D-Rock said out there. I don't know why I hate the Raiders so much. I'm from LA and I hate the LA Traders. You know what? Like, I can see potentially if you're not with them, you're automatically against them because of how many times they left LA to go to Oakland, and then Oakland back to LA, and then back to Oakland. That franchise does not have true roots of where they're really from. They have a great fan base just because of how you say it, the Traders, how they are, and they're just like that rebel team, and that's why people attach to them so much, and that's why there's a lot of hatred on them. They don't really have true roots anywhere else, because once they start having that, now they move, and that, of course, I believe is Al Davis's fault from day one. So that's part of it. And then talking about Madden here, for the most part, everything he touched, turns gold. You're right, because it was the brilliance that he had for the game of football. Just recently, I was just watching on Netflix. There's a series on there about video games, and they go in and talk about the making of Madden. Like, if you have a chance to go watch that episode, I think it's episode 3 of it. I was trying to pull it up earlier. Let's see if I can find it. But if you can go out there and watch it, so much detail about the guy that actually wanted to do when he first started to make the game. He wanted to make the game as a 7-on-7. And right away, because of the graphics, because it was an 8-bit graphic at that time. So that's part of the reason as to why he was like, well, let's do it 7-on-7. Right away, Madden goes, no, we're not doing that, because that's not football. You need to have 11-on-11, not 7-on-7. So you need to get that set up right now. Let's see.
That's a documentary?
Yes, it's called High Score on Netflix.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Is that where they did like different documentaries on different games?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I did see that. I don't know why that doesn't sound familiar, but I know I saw that documentary.
It's episode 4. It's titled This Is War. And it's on there. Yeah, so they talk about EA, how EA got kicked off, like how they got that started. They started about the Sega Genesis console.
Yeah, I remember that.
And all that. So yeah, so it's episode 4, because I just pulled it up here. So definitely go check it out. It's actually a great episode itself, especially talking about Madden and how it all got started.
I just saw it. Yeah, I did see it.
Okay. And then Shy, have we played Madden 26? I have not. I stopped playing 4 years ago. I haven't played it since. My son does. He will still play it every so often, and he wants me to play. And I'm like, nah, yeah, I'm good, because I already know you're gonna kick my butt. So I'm good.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend. I'm in a league with my brother. Well, I was. We kind of stopped playing because the arguments. But between my cousin, my brother, and my best friend, I was the worst Madden player of the 4. Like, I was never able to beat them. And it's one of those things, like I told my brother, because we've gotten into arguments about it, because he's like, bro, you don't even try. I'm like, I wish I could sit here and tell you that I could master every single game I play. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Madden is just not my thing, bro. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to do audibles and plays and all that stuff that you guys know how to do. Like, I just play just because. But in terms of trying to beat you and the other two who are much better, that's like if I played him in like Call of Duty, let's say. My brother I don't think he's ever played Call of Duty a day in his life, but if we did, like, I would beat him hands down. And I can't sit there and be like, bro, you need to get better. You need to get, like, it's not fair, So it's like either you have it or you just don't.
You don't, and that's the same thing. Like when Fortnite first came out, like my kids wanted me to play Fortnite with them and all that. I played one round of Victory Royale or whatever, and I did not see a single person. I didn't able to build anything, do any of that. But my team ended up winning, and it said Victory Royale on the screen. I retire. My last game ever. 1-0. I've never been beaten in this game.
I still have a video. It's on my PS3, I think. The only time I've ever won solo in Fortnite was I don't know if it was the very first season, but it was early Fortnite when you could hide as a bush. And that's all I did. I didn't even have all I had was a handgun. I didn't shoot a single person. I just hid in bushes, and I was watching. And then it was down to me and 2 other guys. And, obviously the circle gets smaller. And then just when I was about to run out with my handgun, they were caught fighting outside the circle, and they died before they could run in, and I won. And I know they were pissed when they saw me, like, bro, this guy was hiding in as a bush this whole damn time.
Hey, a win is a win. Doesn't matter how you get it.
Oh, man. I was like, yeah, I should have done what you did. Like, I retire, I'm done. That way I can say I never lost, but I lost so many more times after that. Like, it's not even funny.
Trust me, I know. I saw your success rate on it now.
I'm going to stream myself playing Fortnite one of these days on TikTok, just for the simple fact that I one of my followers requested me to. I'm like, okay.
It's because
But
he
just
was
so you
tired of
know,
watching Animal Crossing, bro.
hey, Animal Crossing is like one of my favorite videos. Shout out to you, Megs, in the chat. I see you. Animal Crossing is still one of my favorite games to play, and it is one of my most watched games aside from Pokemon. When I streamed Pokemon last year, I think I had like over 200 viewers for like 5 minutes, and then it shrunk back down to like 10.
Because you
So
didn't catch them all.
I don't know if it was a glitch or what have you, especially with the Poke craze going out right now. But
Oh yeah,
it was fun time. But and let me just say, by the way, people that scalp Pokemon cards and decks and boxes and all that, you guys are terrible, man. My cousin tried to go out and get some Pokemon cards for his kid, and he even showed up to Sam's Club at like 5 a.m, and there were people already camped out from the night before, and they went and bought everything. So
that's crazy.
And it's like one of those people that if they buy it for $50 and then they'll try to sell it on eBay or online for like 300.
Yep. That has to go. You have to remember back in the day, and we're actually talking about this over the weekend with my friends, because he's been starting to collect ticket stubs and whatnot. So when I was telling him, I go, I have a whole bunch of ticket stubs and whatever. I go, you have to remember, part of why everything went digital is that the scalpers were out there and were selling fake tickets all the time. So it's harder to do that when you got a digital ticket and it's attached to your actual account of Ticketmaster, AXS, or whatever it is, where they can't do that anymore. So that's part of what they did to help combat people selling fake tickets. I remember there's this guy here in Denver. He was at all the Bronco games, at all the Nuggets, Avs, and that was his job. He was scalping tickets. And he went to the Olympics. He did all that. He got interviewed like with the national media here in the media here in Denver about his trade that he was doing, because that was his main income. That's what he did. I think I vaguely remember if he actually had they did an interview. What do you think about the new digital tickets coming out? Yeah, he goes, yeah, this is going to be hurting me and my family because this is what I do. So that's just part of it. It's the evolving thing that goes around, especially with sporting events and all that. Now it's just like these people coming in, and it's the resale part of it, going in there to pre-sales and doing all that. It's like, now those are the that's the type of scalpers now that go in and do the pre-sales and then redoing the resale within the Ticketmaster itself. So I know that Ticketmaster and some of the other, I think another event is like they've been getting marked down. I don't know if you call it marked down, but getting shunned upon because they have like the monopoly of the ticketing system itself. So where they could just charge all these outrageous fees. I don't know if you've noticed now, if you ever seen with Ticketmaster, you're actually seeing that everything is, when you look at a price, that's the price you're paying for. You're not waiting until you get to the checkout and then you hit with another $150. They're putting everything up front. You know what you're paying for, and then they just include everything within the ticket price right away.
I agree, my friend. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the end of Overtime today. Libre and I would like to say thank you to all of our chatters in the chat tonight. Tim Dog, D-Rock, Shai Vargas, of course, Juan Marquez. Thank you so much for stopping by. If I forget somebody, I apologize. Jorge Montoya. I said Shai already, right? The Borrego sisters. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if I forgot you, I do apologize. Clayton and Cody Chepa, who was here early. D-Rock, thank you again so much for the well wishes. Before we head on out of here, guys, just want to reiterate a couple of things with you. Please, if you could show your support for us here on the Orange and Blue Network by subscribing, sharing, commenting, and liking this video or any of our previous videos. If there's something you heard us say that you agree or don't agree with, please feel hit us free in the comment section, and we will reply to you ASAP. Audio listeners, regardless of what platform you're listening us to, please 5-star reviews are much appreciated. Also, if you'd like, you can send us a screenshot of that review to our Twitter handles there you see at the bottom, and we will shout you guys out as well as give you our thanks for the review. My Twitter handle is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. We would like to give out a shout out to our sponsors. Dubby, if you use the code OBN10, you get 10% off your final order at checkout. Shout out to Dubby for being a continued sponsor of this and all the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network. Also, to Lily's Beauty Salon, located at 11776 Kearney Way in Thornton, Colorado. 80233 is the area code. Her business hours are Mondays and Tuesdays, which she's closed. Wednesdays and Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Sundays from 9:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock. You can contact Lily at area code 720-210-7996. Everything is appointment only. Shout out to Lily's Beauty Salon for helping all of us look our damnedest. And, of course, heading into the start of the season, make sure you're looking your very best coming from Lily's Beauty Salon. Thank you so much for being a continued sponsor of this and all of the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network as well. Again, quick reminder, folks, we will not be on the air next week. Both shows will be off the air next week. Broncos Talk will return next month, August 5th. So August 5th is when we'll be back on the air. So hopefully you will be there to join us for that. Viva Los Broncos will air this Friday. And then we will be off from Viva Los Broncos until the start of preseason. So that following Friday is when Viva Los Broncos comes back every single Friday from preseason all the way until after the Super Bowl. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure being able to entertain you guys tonight. We hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whenever it is you're watching. And I'm just waiting for Libre. Because I know this is his favorite part.
Okay.
Libre, I hope you enjoy yourself next week at the Broncos camp. I can't wait to see training camp. I can't wait to see and hear everything that you experienced August 5th. So enjoy yourself. Have a great time. Same thing to you guys, Chad. If you're out there, go out and high five Bronco Libre and just remind him that I'm cooler than he is.
I already know the true story, so it's okay.
All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whenever it is you're watching. And as always, go Broncos!
Go Broncos! Let's go!